Peace, family. Peace meaning positive energy always creates elevation. Had to take it. I had to take it there, y'all. Peace meaning positive energy always creates elevation, man. I always be trying to find me, right, a nice little spot to sit, man, because I hate to be moving around in certain times when I'm finna get ready to really, really cut into y'all. You feel me? When I'm finna get ready to say something that I feel was like, something that needs to be heard. But I will say this, man. If I have you here, man, please go ahead and pound that like button. Don't just be coming up in here and you ain't pounding the like button for me. All right? When you talk about certain things on certain platforms, what you have to understand first and foremost is that they're not going to push that information. So if you're going to come over here, please like it to at least let the algorithm know I'm in the building. Pound it. All right? So over here, I like to really just cut into what it is that I want to say, because I know, first and foremost, out of all of the followers that I have, it's only going to be so many that's really going to check in. I haven't yet to hit the threshold of 100 or even 50 people over here, so I like to just go ahead and get right into what it is I'm about to say. All right? Right now, I really want to talk about, the way we allow a lot of these doctors to label our children with anything, any diagnosis that they come across. They label them with it. You see what I'm saying? And we just be okay with it. Mainly because, a lot of the children that we're seeing right now, they're more innocent. So if you have those are the ones that are more so like targeted, the ones that's more innocent, right? Okay, and the reason I say this is because, those are the ones that's going to be more obedient, more in line, not being more, those are the ones who wasn't subjected to the streets. What I mean is, everything that's going on, you see what I'm saying? So they may have learned a little slower, so on and so forth. Like prime example, I have a couple people in my family or around my family that suffers from autism and things like that. But see, the thing about that is, bro, they're very intelligent. They're very intelligent. So, what it is we instead of us allowing our children to grow into their selves, man, we want to rush to the hospital. Your child may be a late bloomer. He may be a late bloomer. He just might be listening longer so that when he talk, he has something to say. You see what I'm saying? But people get so afraid, my child, they're not speaking, right now. They're 3, they're 4, they're 5. They want to run right to the hospital to see what the hospital has to say about your child not speaking and things like that. And then they tell you, they have autism or something like that, and you just run with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh man, the doctor said my child has autism, so and so forth. Then the child grows up. He may be struggling, right now, but then he grows up and you find out that he's not who you thought he was. You see what I'm saying? He's very intelligent. Because a lot of these, I'm telling y'all, man, a lot of the children that I'm seeing right now, bro, are being diagnosed, like especially if they ADHD or something like that, if they're a little hype, they quickly diagnose them with ADHD. From I'm telling y'all, bro, you have to understand, a lot of those children that's coming in that they're saying has ADHD, so on and so forth, bro. You have to understand who they are on the spiritual world, why they come with that type of energy, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? That's facts. Cause I don't know if I don't want you guys to just jump on what I'm saying, but I want you to understand this, bro. If you do your research and things like that, do you understand that at one point in time, they were waiting on a group of children to come in. They were expecting to come in and have a certain energy about themselves. So the hospitals would basically be on top of them. And once they seen them with a certain type of energy, what they would want to do is they would want to hit them with a diagnosis. Okay, but they understood that those children that were coming in are very intelligent. Sometimes, I'm telling y'all, man, I watched a child not talk. He was young. I'm talking about from the age of he didn't start talking to about, I want to say 6. All right? All this time he struggled. He would cry, fall on the floor if his mom left, things like that. Things that a regular child did, you feel me? And then they would call him, how people are in their ignorant ways, they would say that he's a slow learner, so on and so forth. But as soon as he started talking, even as I see him now, he's grown and developed. He's not, what they tried to make him sound out to be. Even the doctors, even the hospital. You have to stop letting them do that type of stuff and deal with your children so that you will understand who they are from a spiritual aspect. You feel me? You have to know that that's one of the reasons why, first and foremost, we're being distracted. Okay? Understand that we're being distracted, right? So that you won't have that time to groom and learn your children on a certain level. Because you're too busy. That's why it's so easy for the television to have your child. You understand what I'm saying? So now your child is mimicking what he's seeing from the television. He's expecting life to be what he sees on the television, so on and so forth. That's why it's so easy for your children to be raised by the streets. Because they got you so distracted. You see what I'm saying, bro? So now when your child is going through something, bro, you don't really have the time to really look into it the way you would like to look into it yourself, to be able to have that time for them, because you distracted doing everything else. And when you went to the hospital, that's why it's so easy for them to tell you, oh, they have autism. Okay, just because they say it don't mean it's true. You see what I'm saying? Drop them names, y'all know, y'all in here with me. So, you feel me? I keep telling, man, look, you have to understand, bro, it's an agenda, bro. The medicine that they're not giving you, I bet you it's a natural way that they can help these children, come more into their cells, bro. But they would rather give them medicine. You don't understand, bro. It has to be a balance somewhere in order to keep things a certain way. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all drop them nines. Let me know y'all in here. We got to stop doing that, bro. That's what it's all about when you talk about stepping into your own power and start. But I know it's hard. I know it's hard. They made it that way. They want it to be hard. You have to understand that, bro. Especially the way they split up the homes and things like that. That put us in a situation, bro, to where you really, really ain't got time for your own children. You don't even have time for yourself. You see what I'm saying? You working 12 to 16 hours a day. Have to come home. No father in the home. Your kids have to go to school, things like that, bro. If you have teenagers, maybe they helping along the way with the other little ones, but it's only so much that they can do. You feel me? That's how life sets you up. Why they labeling your kids, telling you they crazy, got you putting them on medicine, so on and so forth. Nowadays, bro, I'm telling you, bro, you go to a school where a child right now, bro, is having like a problem learning reading as fast as the other children, because they have these kids moving at a fast pace now. But as soon as you go in there, bro, and they tell you like, okay, well, your child is not reading up, the way that he want. We want to put him in XYZ classes, man, because he's a little slower. They automatically want to diagnose your children from that point. Because you have to understand, that stuff follows you throughout life. Even if you go to the military, they be like, okay, well, we know you was in slow learning classes. You see what I'm saying? They'll use that against you, so on and so forth. Or when it comes to you being diagnosed with mental issues and things like that as well. You feel me? Notice how it's changing, bro. Ain't nobody there that really want to help your child. Be like, okay, well, I know that he can learn it, so let me go ahead and slow it down a little bit for him and I'll take some more personal time with him, because I understand he's going to learn it because he's showing me that they want to learn it, but he can't learn it as fast as they do. I have to come up with something else. Nobody wants to do that. They want to push them off and say, well, let's put them in these classes because they're learning, and now they further more labeled. And in all cases, it may not even be like from a malice standpoint. They may just be saying, well, this is the class that we put all the slower learning kids in so that they can have, more time, but it's still a label. That's the point I'm trying to make. They labeling your children. Labels is going to follow them. And we just willingly accept it. You see what I'm saying, bro? We got to start waking up, man. That ain't cool, man. You feel me? That ain't cool. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro. So, me personally, bro, I just truly believe that once I don't believe like kids have, like, if anybody around me, bro, would have like been considered to be artistic and things like that, that narrative is something that I wouldn't have ran with. I'd be like, nah, my baby ain't no artistic, woo, woo. And I would have took my time with him a little more. I'm not finna let, y'all put no label on it because, I understand, from life, from living it and things like that, I understand that some kids do learn slower than others. So just because they ain't talking right now, don't mean that when they get a little older, they ain't gonna be well spoken and things like that. Don't mean that, they can't show you that they actually did learn something throughout that time that they was being quiet. They don't mean that they're slower, or they're, you understand what I'm saying? That's real talk. People be, boy, y'all better slow down like that's, I'm telling y'all. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and say that real quick, man. We got to do better, man. I ain't gonna lie, I've been caught up in that cycle myself a little bit in terms of, because life is surrounded around, labels and things like that. So, it's easy for me. I'm not, I ain't taking myself out of the scenario, y'all. I know I'm still living in the matrix too. So some of these things we do unconsciously. You see what I'm saying? It's a way. And the only way that way is going, I'm gonna tell you, that way it can't be stopped unless everybody was to say, we putting a pause on. You feel me? We putting a pause on it. No working, no nothing. And a lot of people come to my inbox and say, well, what are we gonna do if we don't get a job? Look, what you think we gonna do? That's common sense, bro. We living off the land. That's the purpose of it anyway. You're gonna learn how to grow your own crops. Now you're gonna actually become self-sufficient. Because see, they done lied to you and told you were self-sufficient. How you self-sufficient? Well, they done took everything away from you that makes you self-sufficient. Your ability to grow food, your ability to know how to actually cleanse water, to build things like that, because they've civilized you. They've civilized you. And me included. You see what I'm saying? If you know how to fish, hunt, and do anything, man, believe me, that's a plus. But if you just one of those hunters that need to hunt with a gun, bro, you have to understand, bro, it was a time that none of those existed. You gotta learn how to hunt with your hand, because if time was to get back to the point where that was to exist again, you wouldn't be self-sufficient. That's for everybody. But I'm just showing y'all the game that they play, bro. They got you thinking you miss independent. They got all the females thinking they miss independent whole time. They done split up the household because they understood the power of the household being split up. You feel me? So they put the struggle on the mother, right? You see what I'm saying? Let the father slip off a little bit, but guess what? They advise her, if he ain't doing right, put him on. Put him in the system, rope him up. You know what I'm saying? Give him some child support. That's what they advise him. And if he don't pay, then guess what we're gonna do to him? We're gonna furthermore push him in the system by putting him in jail. Whole time they take your independence away. You ain't independent. Beyonce done shoved that down your throat. Whole time you really not independent. Right. Critics say women wear the independent stuff like a badge of honor, but the whole time she's not really independent because she's dependent some way, form, or fashion on, the government, and that's the problem. None of us can say that we're fully independent when we have to walk into the grocery store and get our food. So I'm just saying, if we were put in a position, where we had no choice but to be fully, independent in terms of like if something was to really take place, especially when we know, see, look at this. Especially when we know, they talking about this whole Agenda 2030 thing. You see what I'm saying? Then we're talking about the whole shift for the planet that's taking place right now. And, they say by the year 2030, Nibiru should have been arrived. You see what I'm saying? So we have so much. Look at this. They own me, y'all. But I'm just saying they would say planet Nibiru would have been arrived. Okay, which means that the planet would have fully tilted. Mudslides, tornadoes, so on and so forth. It's going to be a lot of catastrophes taking place during this period of time, right? You feel me? So we know that it's a possibility that some people could survive this. And if they were to survive it, how would you survive it? You survive all these tornadoes and things like that only to what? Because you don't know how to grow your own food. You don't know how to cleanse the water. You don't know what herbs look like in terms of the medicine that's going to be needed to help you heal people on the journey. You don't know any of that. They took it. You're not independent. So now, and we understand throughout time, you're going to eventually end up learning it again because, hey, you might bump into somebody who knows something, then you bump into somebody else who knows something, and then, they have to reteach the children, reteach everybody how to do these things again, right? Build a whole other society. You feel me? But why? Why when these are the things that we should have known from the get-go? That's what we have to ask ourselves, y'all. We have to ask ourselves, bro. What's going on here? So that's why I say I don't like nobody. Don't come under my post asking me, well, if we lose the job, and see, that shows the fear inside of you. You questioning what's gonna happen if we lose the job. What you think gonna happen? We're gonna prepare ourselves in order for a situation like that. So if everybody was to shut down, then guess what? We're gonna build our own little societies, grow our own food, so on and so forth. We educate our own children. So you see what I'm saying? That's a sacrifice. You have to get rid of that. The way that you was living, the civilized, easy way that you was living, right? In order to get back, in order to put things back into its proper perspective. Now, tell me that don't make sense. In order to get things, like if you want to break a system right now that's ran solely off of money, then what do you have to do? You have to hit the system in its pockets. History ain't taught you that. You see what I'm saying? The whole system is based on money transitioning from one hand to the other. Now, this is on a larger scale. I ain't talking about this is something you ain't gonna understand if you out here struggling on a day-to-day basis trying to pay your bills. Hey, my selfie stick, I apologize. You ain't gonna know that. You ain't even seeing things from a bigger standpoint. You just thinking, oh, life is about me paying my bills, but you don't understand when you're trying to shut a system down, because if you really want to be truthful, why are you paying bills? For anything. You paying what was already on for what's already here. It don't make sense. You feel me? You paying for what was already here. But if you want to break that system, then you have to break the monetary system. Everybody has to say, look, I ain't going to work today. What the landlord gonna come down for? I need my money. Bro, you ain't understood. The whole world shut down. Ain't nobody at the grocery store working. You see what I'm saying? Because you have to understand, I don't care how much money you making at the grocery store. At the end, Uncle Sam gonna get his chop and his feed and his beast. You see what I'm saying? So even if you own a business, you're gonna have to say, look, I'm not putting no energy in it, none of that, no more, any of it. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about shutting the grid down. What the landlord knocking at my door for, he participating in it. He know he ain't getting no money. He walked away from that whole scenario. But that's what people are afraid of. And to be honest with you, man, it's so many people, that they ain't ready for it. Their children ain't ready for it. They should be afraid. But with that being said, man, I just want to leave y'all as I came, and I want you guys to always be aware, because to be aware is to be alive. And as always, peace, family. Peace, meaning positive energy, always reflects elevation. Ashay.